Alright, so first of all, I want to apologize for the comparably low light in this video compared to some of my other recent stuff. I have mentioned before that using this space for reviews requires that I rely on natural light, and it's been super overcast all day. I also want to apologize for not getting a theory out to you guys today. I had some interesting things happen last night. It's not super important in the overall scheme of my life as a whole, but it certainly did piss me off and take up a lot of my time. And because I don't want to break up my schedule too much, and I do have a lot of videos that I want to bring out to you guys this weekend specifically, in the works already, taking up a lot of my time, I think it would probably just be best to move my theory from this week to next week. That said, let's talk about Gemcation, otherwise known as the Crewniverse trolls their audience. It's not quite as trolly as Say Uncle was, but it's canon, so that kind of makes it worse. Don't get me wrong, I like this episode, but it annoyed me a little bit, and we'll get to that in a second. Greg and the Crystal Gems have, of course, noticed that Steven hasn't been acting like himself since the night that he returned to Earth. Greg rents out a vacation cabin in the middle of nowhere, and he and the Gems take Steven away to a secluded vacation where he can calm down and hopefully open up to them about what he's feeling. Little do they know, though, that he is upset about Connie, about the rift that is formed between he and Connie, which may seem silly because he literally got kidnapped and taken to another planet. But being kidnapped and taken to another planet is just barely weirder than the kind of stuff that Steven does pretty much every week. And he is a teenager, and Connie is his first maybe girlfriend, and they had their first maybe breakup. At the very least, this is their first fight. So it makes sense that this is where his mind would be. In the unique mind of Steven Universe, it makes perfect sense that this is what he would be dwelling on. And it's kind of hilarious, honestly. The humor of the situation really worked for me. And there were a couple other jokes that worked in this for me, too. There were a couple of jokes that involved Pearl that I thought were hysterical. But then there was some humor in this episode that I didn't really like, especially on my first viewing of the episode. All throughout this, all of the Gems are giving it their best to get Steven to open up about his time on Homeworld. Garnet, thinking that Steven might be upset still about what Rose had to do to Pink Diamond, tries to tell him a story about a time that they were fighting Pink Diamond and how bad she was and how necessary it was to eventually kill her off. And Steven immediately interrupts her and assures her that he understands that Rose did what was necessary. And then later, Pearl is sitting down with him trying to talk about Homeworld, trying to talk about her past. And he flat out interrupts her so he can tell her what's actually on his mind. It felt like I was a guy stuck in the middle of the desert and the crew was dangling a bottle of water in front of my face just to yank it away at the last second. A story featuring Pink Diamond where we'd actually get some insight into her character. Actual dialogue involving Pearl's history with Homeworld, about her role in Homeworld. We are teased with these prospects and then they are taken away from us. Thankfully, though, once Steven does reveal what's upsetting him, that he has been texting Connie and she hasn't been texting him back, Greg and the Gems, they're both incredibly understanding and they still want to help. Where a few seasons ago, the Gems probably would have blown the problem off completely. They realize that he hasn't been getting any cell service in the area and that might be why he hasn't gotten a response yet, and they all work together to find him a place where he does get cell service. And even though he still hasn't received a text from Connie, even though their efforts end in disappointment, seeing them all come together for him in general throughout this entire episode, seeing all of his parental figures work together when a few seasons ago they barely talked. Greg with the Gems, was such a treat. And seeing Steven take comfort in the presence of Greg, who genuinely understands how he's feeling, was incredibly satisfying. Steven's problem is, objectively speaking, much smaller than the kinds of problems that this group of people deals with on a relatively regular basis, and yet they acknowledge that those feelings still have weight and meaning to him. And while the lore stuff was teased to us and then yanked away at the last second and played off like a joke, and while that did really frickin' annoy me in my first viewing, my second viewing of the episode, I actually kind of thought it was funny. And it is, objectively speaking, pretty funny. And I will freely admit that if these episodes had aired as intended only 2 or 3 weeks after the end of the Wanted special, I probably would have thought these were funny my first time through, because I wouldn't have had that long period of time where I was hoping for more content and wasn't getting it. And we did get one potential lore tidbit here. Pearl is a very literal being. She chooses her words very carefully when she speaks. And yet she flat out told Steven that there are things that she cannot tell him about her past. And when she tries, she continually seems to subconsciously prevent herself from speaking, as if she is trying to find words that she can utter to get around some sort of compulsion. Awestruck Vox actually did a really great video on this. You guys should go watch it. But it really does look like Pearl, either by virtue of being a Pearl, or because she has had some gem power or technology applied to her, cannot utter certain details about Homeworld or her life on Homeworld. That is super interesting, and I'm super excited to see if this goes anywhere. In fact, I think that the lore teases in this episode doubled as a sort of preview of some of the lore that we're going to get this season. Overall, it may not seem like a lot was accomplished in this episode, but the raw emotion of it, I think, was definitely worth the 11 minutes. There was also some background humor involving Ronaldo that I honestly kind of forgot until literally just now, that, looking back on it, was pretty funny and kind of re-ingratiated him a little bit to me. Again, this is one that wouldn't break my top 10, but I'm certainly glad I watched it. And I do think that, as a standalone episode, it was significantly better than both Dewey Wins and Raising the Barn. That said, though, guys, what did you think of this episode? If you have seen it, let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below. Either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.